what I wanted to talk about today. It's like to get you to get out of your mind. And, that's the power of music, right? It just takes you right into the heart. But a gift like this, it like even does more than that. It was like I felt myself there, like feeling transparent, like she was blowing through any identification of this me form, to where it was just, whew, into essence. Beautiful. Wow. It's incredible. Hi. Okay. So our theme for the month has been about how to keep our spiritual cool when the heat is on in our lives. And I don't know about you all, but I've had one heck of a month. Anybody else out there? Okay, good. I'm not alone. Whoa, what is going on, right? Oh, so we're using the idea of it's the middle of July and it's really hot, although we have gotten a little reprieve the last 24 hours. Nice, huh? Oh, gosh. But we've used that as a metaphor for our idea this month of keeping spiritually cool when we're challenged. And that is not an easy thing to do, right? It's really easy to have our spiritual cool when everything's going our way, right? And all our needs are met and everybody's doing what we want them to be doing and we got a good hair day and, all that kind of stuff. Or not. You're always beautiful. It always just is. How do you get it to stay the same all the time? I love you, Laura. She's awesome. She's the really cool bald chick. Yes. Connect with her afterwards because she's something. So it's really hard to stay cool when our egos are in control. We've talked about that this month, and we've talked all about the ego. And it's really hard to stay cool when our shadow side, the part we like to keep hidden, pops out. I'm sorry, Antoinette. My little dark side came out for a second this morning. They do, don't they? Don't they just kind of like pop out every now and again? It's like, dang, I didn't want you to see that. I'm always cool. Oh, good. Okay, good. Well, that was just a little taste. Ask Michael, okay? That's true for all of us, right? We just save those best behaviors for those we love the very most, right? Or when our emotions get triggered, especially anger. Ugh. That's a hard one. And so we've been talking about all of these challenging things this month, and I've been trying to give you a lot of content, I know, this month in kind of knowing the mechanics of all of that and how to better navigate through all of that. And last week and this week, we've kind of moved out of the ego, shadow side, emotions like anger into the idea that we've all heard over and over again in New Thought of your belief creates your reality. Okay? And what we've done is taken a look at what is this? What is reality? What is the reality we want to create for ourselves? And what does belief have to do with it? Okay? So last week, and out of this, I came up with 5 questions that sort of came to me in contemplating our beliefs create our reality. And we did 3 last week, and we'll do 2 today, but I just want to review a little bit. So these are the 5 beliefs, or the 5 questions that we've been looking at. And the first lesson was about, well, if your beliefs create your reality, I guess I probably ought to figure out what it is I believe. Okay? And here's the thing, is that if you don't know what that is, then you're going to be creating unconsciously, and what's going to be happening is you're going to be operating from reaction, okay, based upon your conditioning and patterns and things like that, rather than consciously having any clue as to what's going on and how you might want to respond differently. So a few pointers were, if you don't know what you believe, look at your life. Look at all aspects of your life, your relationships, your health, your work, your financial flow. And if it's not what you want, then I would encourage you to see if you can't find the belief that's underneath that may be creating that in your life. So that's a pointer. And then the other thing is to pay attention to what triggers you. When you get triggered and have that emotional reaction, that is your tempo bell that you're probably believing something that's not true. And so your job is to see if you can discover what that belief is, so that then you can examine it. Okay? The second question that we looked at was, how does belief actually happen? And what we learned and what we know is that it all starts with a thought. A thought in and of itself is not a problem. It's not a problem. But if you believe that thought is true, what's happened is you've made an agreement with it and you've become attached to it. And then everything in your psyche will pull all this stuff in to create this belief structure or this belief system around that thought. Now, we all know what a belief system is, right? It's BS. Okay? Because it has no reality in and of itself. Okay? It's just labels, interpretations, opinions, stories, evidence your mind has found. And all of this, what it serves is the ego getting to be right. And doesn't it love that? It loves that so much. So beliefs begin with a thought. Okay? The third question was, do I have any control over what I believe? Now, in New Thought, we all like to go, well, yes. I just affirm what I want to believe, okay? Now, that can kind of work on one level, but here's the thing. I said last week that about 95% of your beliefs you're not even aware of. They're in your unconsciousness. And so until you shine the light on it and that is seen, it's going to be controlling you. Once you make that known to yourself, that's when you can then go, okay, is that even true? This belief that has been running your life for God knows how long, it's like, first of all, it's been in the shadows, and then it's in the light, and it's like, well, where did that come from? But most importantly, the most powerful question you can ask is that true? Because you see, belief systems are trying to create truth out of something that isn't. Okay? So once you identify, bring it to light, and begin to question it, then you have some ability to create and to look at that and to maybe think what's a little bit more true. So today, that's where I want to move into, which is the fourth question, which is, how do I change a belief once you discover it? So, first of all, the way you discover that a belief is causing you is trying to make itself known is that you won't feel good. You'll have pain and suffering. And so what we typically do here as practitioners is that once we help you identify what that belief is, and sometimes you can do that on your own, and sometimes it's really hard and challenging. It's like it's so easy for us to see it in somebody else, right? But with us, it's like, we kind of have some blind spots, and that's how come we need each other. And denial is, we all just have perfected that one, right? So once that's identified, then what the practitioner will do is to find its opposite, to find that God life truth that's the opposite of that belief that you're holding. And so I want to kind of just give you an example of this so that it'll be helpful. And I chose this example because we've all gone through something like this, which is you hear that somebody has been talking about you behind your back and saying really mean things, and you find out about it. Okay? And so you might, if you're like me, you may become defensive. You may react. And I'm breaking that word up because what react means is that you do the same thing you're accusing the other of. So you reenact that thing, and you get all defensive and all puffed up defending yourself and start talking badly about this person, and then you share with that person going, oh, yeah, but I'm really just trying to find the spiritual solution about that. Right? We're so tricky. And remember, that first week I said, only egos take offense. Your essence never does. And defense is the first act of war. So check your defenses. When you find yourself, the ego in a situation, it's just like furious. And it feels threatened, and it starts judging, and it starts building a story. Okay, so maybe you go there for a few minutes, but you're so spiritually mature that you go, oh, hang on. We got to dig a little deeper to see what's actually going on here. And so you take a few breaths, and you quiet yourself down, and you begin to, drop out of your mind, maybe down into your heart a little bit, and just kind of get a little quiet, where there's not this voice just like screaming, how did that, all that kind of stuff. And then you drop even deeper, okay? Because you move down even deeper into that, the ground of your being. The seed of the soul, that deepest of deep in you, that still, silent, powerful, beautiful essence place, which is who we all really are. That's our true nature. So we drop down into that, and then what can come from that is an understanding and a realization may begin to reveal itself. Because remember, we talked about how there's nothing to heal, there's only that which needs to be revealed. So this realization begins to reveal itself, and you see that there's been this pattern in you that has this need for other people's love and approval of you. And of course, that comes from an even deeper belief, which is, okay, there's something wrong with me and I'm not lovable. That could be at the root of that. So, so you discover I have this pattern of neediness for other people's love and approval, and then of course when that doesn't happen, So remember we say as soon as it's identified, we begin to question it. So is it true that you need other people's love and approval? Is that actually true? Might be, a little bit. Or perhaps is it as true or more true that you actually need your own love and approval? And then we can take it even deeper than that. Is it more true that actually you are love? That is who and what you are. That is your true nature, your essence. I think we can all agree that one of the qualities of God is love. And if you are an expression of that, and if you are an individuation of that, then you are love too. So in spiritual mind treatment work, what we do is we affirm the spiritual truth of who you are, which is love. And all that has actually happened is that there is a distortion that happened at some point, probably in your very early years, where that got distorted. It got distorted in you. And that pattern's kind of been acting out. So we restore order. And what's so beautiful about this is, see, this came as a realization or a knowing that I am love, and you will experience that if you work with a practitioner where you actually have that knowing and that feeling and that realization of that. And what I would say is, does that require any belief at all? When a realization has occurred, what does that have to do with belief? There is more truth and freedom beyond belief. And I know we spend a lot of time at the level of your thoughts create your reality, and and all of that's true on a certain level. But I know where I want to go, and I think I know where you want to go, which all of that, which is very useful until it's not, is to get you to the ground of your being where you realize truth, where you don't have to have any BS going on. Does that make sense? Good. So maybe a better question than, how do I change a belief? Maybe a better question is, do I need belief at all? And remember last week I said what I really want to encourage you all to do is to start asking yourself questions. Stop living your life from the place where you think you know the answer, or looking for the answer and trying to fix all of this. You can't. But it can happen if you kind of use the mind in a little different fashion, which is to kind of turn the mind on itself and to actually question some things. Get comfortable living in the question rather than what you may think is the answer. Because as soon as you think you've got the answer, do you know what happens? Boom. Your mind closes. Okay? We always want to be open as at the top, like Ernest Holmes says. The fifth question is, what is the reality I want to create? Now, it's really astonishing how often somebody will come to me for treatment, and I'll say, okay, well, what do you want? And they won't have any idea. You know? And others, of course, you know, they got a list, you know, I want to manifest this, you know. But so it's like, okay, so what do I want? What do I want? What do I want? Did anybody, I mean, that question wasn't really given to us very often growing up, right? We were just kind of told what to do. We weren't asked what we want. I have just a little something I'd like you to take into your contemplation and meditation practice, which is when you think about that question, like, what do I want? I want you to ask yourself this. Who's asking? Who's asking? Okay, well, what do I want to create? Well, I think I want blah, 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 blah. Who's answering? Okay? Take that into your practice. It can stop you. Full stop. And what is it, like, if I'm clear about what I want, what is it that I think that is going to give me? What is it? So that would be like what you really want. And see, what you really want, that is a desire that can be fulfilled. Which is probably peace, joy, freedom, happiness. I mean, you can manifest a lot of things, and we spend a lot of time, and it's fun, and we all want a nice, comfortable life, and we want everything working and all. There's nothing wrong with that. And we have great tools to be able to create better in that. But I want to take you somewhere deeper that's going to give you a lasting, true result. A lot of New Thought students get stuck at the manifestation. They get stuck, and see, there's further. There's more than just the manifestation. You know, a lot of people will come because, you know, they're not happy and they want their life to work better, and, you know, they've heard some of these principles and they want to see if that can make a difference in their life. But see, if that's what's driving you, that is, it's coming from a need. And when you come at anything from a place of neediness, that can never be satisfied. But when you come from your fullness, then all else is added on to you. If you come from neediness, it can't fulfill itself. I mean, you may manifest something, but you may realize, oh, that's not quite what I want. Or you manifested and that's great, but okay, I got that. Now what? Okay, we've all been there. So what we really want to do is go deep enough, long enough, where you can tap into your fullness that is in each and every one of us right here, right now, in this moment. And know that it's the destiny of everyone for that true self, that essence that you are, to awaken where you are. It's all going to happen for every single person. But if you stay in the manifestation stage, it's working at this level, and I want to like get us moving down. And so I want to help you find something that's actually lasting, that's like really real, to create a reality that is like the true ultimate reality, not just whatever's happening in your life. So you want to discover and ask, what is it right here, right now in me that always stays the same? Can you get a sense of that? And what is the changelessness in me? And see if you can begin to see. These ideas are kind of beyond the thought constructs into more of a realization and a knowing. But it's useful sometimes to have the words and the pointers to help us get there. What is it in me that is infinite, that has always been and never will be? What is that? And from this place, then an even better question can be asked than what reality do I want to create, which would be, what does spirit or life want to manifest through me? That's a much better question, isn't it? What is it that spirit and life wants to do through me? And then everything in your psyche can be in service of that. And just discovering what that is that spirit wants to do, that gives you your purpose. And it's already fulfilled. And you'll know when that's happening, because there'll be a flow to your life. You'll enjoy your life and what you're doing. And you'll feel the presence. You'll feel the presence. And you'll feel peaceful. And you'll feel fulfilled. If you don't feel good, that's your temple bell. You are believing something that is not true. Find out what that is. And then let's, redirect that into what is actually true. And the best place to find that out is in the stillness and the silence of your own being. That's why, one of my favorite scriptures, and we've got it written above our door out there, and it's a powerful scripture. Be still and know that I am God. See, be still and know. And know. It doesn't say be still and think. It doesn't say be still and believe. It says be still and know that I am God. See, that distinction between thoughts or believing and knowing and realization, that distinction will serve you so well. Knowing is different than believing something. Beliefs change. But when you know, when you have a realization, there's some real substance, some real spiritual truth there. So a better question than that one would be, what does spirit want to manifest through me? Now, when we do that, then you know what you got to do? You have to wait. Okay, well, I asked, okay, spirit, but it's like, be patient, wait. It may be a while. Okay? It may not come. It may. I don't know. But wait. And you know the difference between when it's your head just ba-ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba, and when there's like an intuition or something that's trying to be communicated to you in some way that's of spirit, right? So that's what I'm talking about, is to wait for whatever that is. And oftentimes it's very succinct. It doesn't always use, sentences and a whole paragraph. It may could come in an image or just in a feeling, or you'll see some, you know how this works. So that's what you want to wait for. And waiting requires being still. Being still. And don't ask the question and then go off and try to find the answer. Well, maybe this person has the answer, or maybe if I get this work done, or maybe if I read that book, or, those could be part of what gets revealed to you. But just wait and trust that it'll come. It'll come. You will know. So what we've been talking about this month, I don't know if you realize it or not, but I sure do, and I love it. It's like we've moved to a whole other level here. And we'll just call it, what we're learning right now is kind of a roadmap for this greater reality that we're talking about here today. That greater reality is one of presence and peace and true purpose. And so what I want to give you today, and as we kind of close this month of, a lot of stuff, is just a few tools that can help you this week and hopefully and beyond. So we talked about the witness that first week, which is the part of you that is aware, that's not identified with thoughts, that can just sort of vary with all kinds of equanimity and grace, just sort of watch what's going on without judgment, without interpretation, and all of that. So, from that place of awareness, and I want you to notice when you can catch yourself. See, and from that place of awareness, you will notice thoughts arising. Thoughts continue to be generated. They'll keep arising. If you find and catch yourself with your thoughts thinking about the past, and you start to feel regret, guilt, and shame, as soon as you notice that, bring yourself back to the present moment. Just notice it, and then just come back to this moment. And then if you find your thoughts drifting into the future, and you start feeling anxiety and fear and dread, as soon as you notice that, come back to this moment. Bring it back to this moment. The presence is in the present moment. It's only here, now. It's not in your thoughts or your past or your thoughts and your future. It's like right here. This is where the presence is. And in addition to your prayer and meditation and the various things that you all do in your spiritual practice, I want to introduce one that is powerful. And that is to find time every day to go beyond thought, to go beyond your thinking, egoic mind, okay? To go beyond that and to drop down into your heart and to drop down even further to the ground of your being and sense that stillness, that timelessness, the clarity and the alertness, and just that peace that just permeates everything. And that experience will not be a thought. It will be an embodied knowing and an embodied realization of presence, and that you are that. And it's not something you do. It's not another doing. It's a being. It's a being. It's a wordless place that's complete in and of itself. And there's a delightfulness about it, and there's a lightness of being about it too. I want you to get comfortable with silence and stillness. There's a time for everything else, and there's a time for prayer and meditation. But you see, the point of prayer and meditation is to move you into this place that I'm talking about. Don't get stuck and pitch your tent at your spiritual practices that are trying to get you to drop even deeper into being. And I'll tell you that this deeper place, it is out of the stillness and silence that true creation actually happens. That's where these just amazing things that have been created happen from. It comes out of the formless, out of the unmanifest into this. We've all done the creating from here. Now, this is a useful tool in service of this greater reality. But don't get the cart before the horse, or you're going to end up with stuff going on that you just wish you hadn't wanted. We've all experienced that one too. Okay, and here's something that can help you with this practice, is to spend time in nature, communing, just being, without words, without, looking at and having the voice in your head describing everything you're seeing. Well, now there's a tree. Well, that's a pretty big tree. Oh, that one's dead. Oh, look at that. You know what I mean? It's like I want you to commune with nature and see if you can feel the life of the tree. Can you feel the life in the flower? Can you feel the life in these extraordinary, gorgeous plants? See if you can sense the consciousness that is in all of that. And then, this is where it gets really good. I want you to turn that around. You know how I keep talking about turning the mind around on itself? Well, this communing place, there's another version of that where you feel into nature and you feel your love for it, and you sense the consciousness and maybe even some of that oneness kind of feeling, and then you turn it and see if you can feel yourself from nature's point of view. See if you can feel nature's love coming back. That consciousness seeing its consciousness. Can you feel its love for you? We've all had moments of that. And that's kind of a little exercise that's awareness, aware of itself. I'm aware of nature, and nature's aware of me. And when you turn it around like that and you sense into that, it's an extraordinary thing. It's like love loving itself. It's like spirit seeing itself. And there's a richness and a beautiful, pure, unconditioned kind of love thing that happens. What makes that possible is getting quiet, getting still, getting silent, dropping down, and then just absolutely amazing connection to your essence and to the connectedness between you and everything in this world. So that is, oh my goodness, dang it. Okay, well, I talked longer than I thought I was going to. I'm sorry, but we were going to do an experiential thing today. But I think we'll have to just leave it there, all right? We will do that on a regular basis, so just know that. And so you have some things to practice this week, yeah? Some nice tools to use, some new, fresh ideas, and that's great. All right, so I am going to invite little Miss Mary. Where is she? Here she is, this beautiful lady.